Good
Hey, everybody.
afternoon, Facebook, YouTube,
Well,
Twitter. And how are you guys doing? Good
hey,
afternoon. Oh, we are the Rain Outreach Team coming live. I know we're a little bit smaller team today than you're used to, but our team members will be joining us a little later. So
mhm.
it's going to be me and Bryce, and today we're going to talk to you about PrEP and what PrEP is, and go through some of the myths and questions about it, about what it really is, how it can help you, all that good stuff. Okay, so we're going to do our intros. We're going to go with Bryce.
Uh, yeah. Hey, everybody. My name is
Ooh,
Bryce. Ooh, ooh,
wrong one.
ooh. Hi, everybody. My name is Bryce. I'm the peer attention specialist at Rain. I specialize in getting those who are positive re-engaged into their care. Also, if you're newly diagnosed, I get you into care within 2 to 3 weeks of your diagnosis. I case manage you for a year, and my goal is to teach you life strategies that help you navigate your care and be retained in your care. I also provide you with services that will help assist you retaining your care for that whole year. So if you or someone you know needs more services, please call the number down below.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. And I am Patrice, like you guys already know. I am the prevention case manager here at Ray. I set people up in our PrEP program and offer them case management to make sure they're medically adherent. They can get to doctor's appointments, and they can have things to help them like food, help with housing, transportation, resume writing, getting back in school, anything to help you live your best life and to maintain a safe and happy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So let's get into it, please. What is PrEP?
Well, so PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis, and what that means is that it stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis, and that means to prevent a disease from taking hold. So PrEP is basically a once-a-day medication that you can take, and it kind of the idea of putting a shield around your cells. It creates a shield around your cells so that if you're exposed to HIV, when the virus goes to attack your T cells, it rebounds off and you can never adhere. So you can never really get HIV. The great thing about that is that now with Discovery, have a 99% retention rate. As long as you stay medically adherent, there's a 99% chance that if you run across HIV and are exposed to it, you will not contract the virus, which is awesome when you look at how far we've come as far as medication from something that had nothing and people, it was a death sentence, where now, not only with the medication and the antiretrovirals that we have now, you can have U equals U, which means you're undetectable and can't transmit, to PrEP, which means you can't even acquire the virus if you're on this PrEP medication on a regular basis and you take it every day. And to me, I think that's amazing because you never really, because I'm so old, I've seen so many of my friends have HIV and passed away. I've lost so many people I love that this is like so amazing to me. It just blows my mind. And the fact that this is out there now, I think it's amazing. Like it just really is like, whoa, this is something that is like a total game changer. Why are you laughing at me, bro?
I'm not laughing. I'm happy. So what's the difference between PEP and PrEP?
So PEP is a post-exposure. PEP means if you know that you have had sex or been with someone that is positive, then it has a different, then you go into post-exposure. So that means you have 72 hours to go to a doctor, come see me, go to the emergency room, where you can get a 30-day regimen of a pill that if you take it within 72 hours, it will not allow the virus to but that 72-hour window is a max. The sooner that you can get yourself to a doctor and get the PEP if you have a post-exposure situation, the better chances you are getting under control. 72 hours, you can still catch it, but it is like the very last moment. Like I ask people when they call me, I ask them the day, the hour, like you really have to count it down. And so that's the big difference between those things. But at the end of the day, it's really about a sexual health thing. And I really want to show you a map of the actual, what STDs in our area actually looks like. If you take a look at this map, you'll see that the darker red is the people that have the cases. And you can clearly see North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, Oklahoma, for some reason Hawaii, are some of the highest instances of actual. Yeah, these are the highest instances of STD in the country. And North Carolina is like number 7.
Mm-hmm.
And considering that we are nowhere near as large as some of these other states, the fact that North Carolina is right up there as far as syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a list of the rates of teenager STDs, teenagers that have STDs, and this is what that is. And this is a rate per 100,000. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, North Carolina is right up there. Yeah, 319 to 428 per 100,000. Like North Carolina is cutting up. I know people don't like condoms or whatever, but is it really worth all of this?
No.
It's really not. You know what I'm saying?
Not.
It's really not worth it. Go ahead.
Do you think the lack of sexual education is a contributing factor to this?
Of course. Of course. We live in the Bible Belt, and if you take a look at the majority of those states that are dark, they're all in the South. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at that map again. North and South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. What is that right there?
Mississippi.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And then these are all in the South. You'll know you have nothing above the Mason-Dixon line that has anywhere near the issues that we have. Simply because here, people are told that, oh, no, they don't have any kind of public education as far as what is actually on sex education in schools. The only thing they teach is abstinence. That's the only thing that legally you can teach. Now, they have changed that in the last couple of years, but now it's up to each county what can be done. Now, with that being said, that's not going to necessarily do anything. If people want sex education in your schools, then you're actually going to have to go down and talk to your city council. Your city council can vote that in. And right now is the time to do it, because you have to look at the fact that nobody is not having sex. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it all the way 100. Nobody is not having sex right now. Even during the pandemic, where we're not supposed to be having sex,
we're still having sex.
People are still having sex. Believe that. And if you are under any misconceptions about your child thinking about sex and what they will like, and oh, my child isn't like that, you're lying to yourself. Mm-hmm. Even if your kid may not be active, please believe they're plotting on it. It's gonna happen. So and it's better for them to be prepared.
Yeah. So is sex education a responsibility for the parents or the school, or should it be for both?
I honestly feel like it's for the parents, but I am okay. But just like everything else, where the parents fail, the schools do have to pick it up. And that's what's so scary, is that there is no one pushing the schools to pick up that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Y'all want to tell them they can go to college. You want to test for all these things. You give them all of these homework, but they don't have no avenue for anything else. You take these kids on football trips, the football team is on the bus with cheerleaders, band, the flag team. You think you're riding back at 12 o'clock at night on a dark bus and ain't no shit happening. You got me fucked up.
So how will we push PrEP as
Hi, Johnny.
Like, will we include PrEP as in what we use when we tell people about condoms and birth control?
You said what now?
Will we put PrEP in the same category as we would condoms and birth control? Would you say PrEP is a contraceptive or a preventative?
PrEP is a preventative, just like birth control. You know, a lot of people tell me that they don't want to be on PrEP because they're in relationships. Well, there are a lot of women that are on birth control, and guess what? They're either married or in relationships. It's called being aware of self and wanting to do something for yourself that you don't really need permission to do. Who does that?
A lot of people. So would you say that PrEP is something that should be targeted only to MSM, or do you think everybody should be on PrEP? Because when I think about PrEP for my teenager, I'm not focusing on my teenager's gender or sexuality. I feel like everybody should be on PrEP.
So I'm going to answer that, but before we do that, we're going to look at these comments, because there's some shit in here. We see people saying kids are having sex. Some people own sex education through doing porn. Nadia, wow.
That's true.
That is true. Daniel, you're right. A lot of the high numbers in the South are because they don't educate. And that's what's so scary. The thing right now with PrEP, and why I think that it is a good idea, if you are looking at putting your child on birth control because you want a preventative, you should be looking at your child doing that as well. I think we got Johnny is ready to come in. Johnny, are you ready? Johnny, are you ready? He's not ready. I think he's having a computer problem. Okay, so right now we are seeing a explosion of sexuality and how people express sexuality. It is no longer straight, gay, bisexual. That ship has sailed and has been sunk in the back of the bus. You are now looking at 26 different levels of the sexuality spectrum. 26. And the top ones are like the top 5. One of the top 5 is pansexuals. Pansexuals sleep with everybody.
Yes.
If they like it, they like it. And they coming to get it. And I'm not mad at that. But at the same time, you do want to be safe. What does that mean? That means that what people think, oh, this gay boy is not going to sleep with this girl, lies and deceit.
Let me tell you.
Some people I tested today broke that wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever believe that because you're looking at somebody and you think that they may be feminine or masculine, they're not doing whatever. No.
You never know somebody's sexuality.
You never know somebody's sexuality. And some people are fluid and some people view sex as just like exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if you're going to be sexually active and you know that you're not going to be... I'm sorry. My dog went crazy. If you're going to be sexually active to the point to where you're ready to get on birth control, I think you should seriously look at PrEP as well. I think that PrEP, like birth control, is something that you don't have to take forever, but it is also something that is just about being cognizant of your own sexual health. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just to have that peace of mind going into a situation, because even though we preach safe sex and condoms and being responsible, the reality of the situation is when you're in the heat of the moment, those things may or may not cross your mind.
They out the window, Tara.
And I understand it because I've been there. I've been there. We've all been there. We've all had that moment where nobody was like, oh, yeah, let me see what I'm doing. Go downstairs, look in my purse, and see if I have a condom. Or if I look in my purse and there's no condom there, pause and go to the store and get one.
Mm-hmm. I'm doing that.
I don't think that's going to work. So what do you think about PrEP?
I think PrEP is a wonderful thing. I think it's something that everybody should look into. Everybody should be using, because what you said about sexuality now is true. There's no one singular sexuality, and you can't look at somebody and know their sexuality. You know, and when you sleep with somebody, you're taking the chance sleeping with everybody they had sex with, and you don't know who they have sex with. Even if they tell you, you never really know who that person has sex with. So I think it's also important to have a sense of self-protection and a sense of self-knowing that, you know, this is what I need for me. It's like a lot of people shy away from the thought of PrEP because they're trying to they associate PrEP with a sexuality, and they associate PrEP with a stigma. So like basically they're saying like if I take PrEP, then I allow myself to sleep with positive people, or if I'm a woman that's taking PrEP, that means I sleep with a man that sleeps with other men. So because those are things that I heard too. And I was going to ask you too, like, what steps do you think we should take towards canceling the stigma against taking PrEP? Because one time I was trying to pitch PrEP to somebody, and they hit me with that, "Oh no, girl, I don't sleep with dirty people. I don't need PrEP." But it's like, how do you know? How do you know
somebody is dirty? What does that even mean? Did somebody go in the mud? I don't understand where these words are coming from. As long as sexual stigma in this country will always be things that will be looked down upon. Because I think as human beings, it is innate in us to want to be better than others, and that's sad, but I think that's a true human characteristic. As long as you have slut shaming, the whole one night stand thing is not good. Like those kinds of things are what kind of creates the stigmas. Although everybody is totally cool with on fucking Grindr and Adam for Adam and going to sex parties, that's all good. And I can fucking promise you at them fucking sex parties, you getting into some shit you're not ready for. These are facts.
That's true.
So all of this, oh, I don't sleep. How do you know? He could be the prettiest motherfucker walking. She could be the prettiest motherfucker with the fattest ass and the biggest titties. You don't fucking know. That whole look dirty shit is so childish. So childish.
And how would you break down the barrier between PrEP and women? How would you pitch PrEP to a woman?
Unfortunately, it is very difficult because of all of the stigmas, not even just having a partner that has HIV in and of itself is such a large stigma in the Black community, especially if you are a heterosexual woman, because then it becomes all of how or why or whom or what. These things are not anybody's business. It's not for anybody to know, but the stigma of being outed, so to speak, is more than the actual taking of the medication. You know, we just had the new PrEP medication come out in October. It was released in the better product, better medication, has better metrics from the data from all the studies, but it is not approved for women because they could not find 5,000 women in the United States come forward to take PrEP. Not because there are not 5,000 women who have partners that are positive, but simply because they would not come forward. And that's scary. Now, although now with the U equals U, it's not as big of a danger, so to speak, for the partners to contract, but you know, it's kind of an iffy situation. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, hello.
You all right?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the conversation.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
So, Trees, I also want to ask you, what do you say to people who be like, I heard that PrEP has negative side effects and it can mess with my liver and my kidneys. What do you have to say to that?
I kind of bring out some of my data and statistics. A lot of people, because they've seen those lawsuit commercials for Truvada, feel like it's going to make them sick and that it's really dangerous. Because nobody is going to read into the details of what the lawsuit is. Are there these actual side effects? Where is this information coming from? Then they don't really know what it is. They just know they heard something. And so I heard them ask me questions about it. And, you know, and then we sit down and we talk about the reality versus the hype. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, those lawsuits may have been, they've not gone through court yet. They're still trying to get enough people to actually take the lawsuit forward. So the fact that they're doing all that just to get more people so that they can sue these people kind of lets you know where they're at and that they're found the things that they're trying to sue for are not necessarily real.
Mm-hmm. And so there's two PrEPs available, Truvada and Descovy. Can you tell us what's the difference between the two?
So basically with Descovy, Truvada was the first one, and Truvada is one of two medications that a person would take if they're positive. Mm-hmm. So that one pill, which was like fucking huge, it's like this. It's like this fucking big. It's like a whole live inch long, and then like a half an inch thick. It's horrible. That was the one that had. It's nothing on getting that down. Now, Truvada has shown some side effects with kidneys and bone marrow density in long-term users, and the people that were had been positive has shown some side effects with that and another drug. So that was where a lot of the concern was coming in with Truvada. Now, with Descovy, what they did is they went back and changed the mix and took out the drug that was causing some of the issues so that now you don't have any of the kidney interactions. And in all of the studies, they have seen no bone marrow loss, which is fantastic. But you still get, when you're on PrEP, you still go through and have a 3-month checkup. And every 3 months, they do an HIV check, an STD check, and all of your blood levels. So they can check your bone marrow, your creatine, blood levels, all that kind of stuff. With Descovy, the incidence that does push it up to 99%. With Truvada, it was at 92.7, as long as you're medically adherent. So Descovy is a better product, and it's super small. It's like this big. It's so tiny. It's amazing how they took something ridiculously large and made it so small. But I don't know what's happening with my dog. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Johnny.
I just kind of wanted to, I'm not sure what you guys have talked about already, but I definitely wanted to kind of ask a question in regards to what are some things that So one of the things that I'm not sure if they talked about already was the fact that PrEP had been out for so long, and we were one of the last demographics to kind of get a hold to it, to kind of know about it, and things like that. Being able to afford it, and I think that a lot of times people, organizations don't give us credit or take that away from the picture. Yeah, yes, I understand that PrEP is out and PrEP has been out, but look how long it's been withheld from us. Look how long it's been, a secret, pretty much. And at one point in time, when it first came out back in 2012, 2011, only people that knew about it was the people that could afford it, the people that had a good insurance plans or doctors that were taking it because they was working on patients that were HIV positive. Those only people that you knew about it, only people that ever heard about it. And I think Patrice said earlier, this Truvada was a pill that was once taken by people who were HIV positive. And they discovered later on down the line that was something they can use to kind of, prevent HIV. However, I think that, I go to a lot of conferences and a lot of, expos about PrEP and things like that. And one of the things that are typically said is, why can't we get the Black community to engage more in PrEP? Well, I mean, it's going to take some time because remember, we had, y'all had a head start. If you right now, if you are in network, when I say in network, meaning that you are a part of an ASO, a service organization, that you are part of, you actually going to a clinic that has internal medicine or infectious disease. If you're not in network, you don't really know about it. I think that's something that people are really missing. Yeah, the advertising on TV that shows the Scovy and the triplet when that first came out, only showed a demographic of people that looked like us. And I think that was another like kind of strategic targeted type of thing. And it just kind of looked, it just didn't kind of look sincere. So I think that we have a lot of work to do as far as an outreach team, and trying to, getting PrEP, a little bit more known. And I'm not exactly sure how that looks like or what that look like. And I hate to say known because I think that PrEP is rarely widely known at this particular point. I think the problem is people trusting to get on it, or people educating themselves about it, as opposed to hearing things and going off what they, like Patrice said on Facebook, the advertisements about the lawsuit or lack thereof of a lawsuit. But I just think that I am now thinking that I've once in my head have said I want more Black people to be on PrEP, or I want people to kind of take advantage of that and things like that. Not realize what I'm saying is I have totally took out the picture that we was at one point in time, in the dark about the situation. So we need time to kind of catch up. Give us that time to kind of catch up.
You don't think they've had enough time to catch up?
No,
because it's not like they don't know about it. At this point, it's willful ignorance. There's no situation in an LGBTQ community that you don't know what PrEP is. Just like you know what kind of meds people that are positive take, because the girls talk and everybody talks about everybody's shit. They know what PrEP is. They just take why not just say, oh well, I don't want to do it because of what? What? I'm still waiting on a good answer.
I was more so speaking. I was more so speaking on not just the LGBT community, but more so as a whole. Like even when we talk about Black women or women as a period. I think that we don't have enough. I personally don't think that there's enough. I know the targeted population would be LGBT because of the numbers, and all of that makes sense, and I get all of that. However, women are not outlawed from the situation. So if we're targeting a certain type of, if we're going after a certain demographic, not saying that we're excluding anybody, that the people can still come and get PrEP, but because they're not being targeted, they're not being known, so they don't know to go to an infectious disease doctor to access, because as of right now, marketed, the only person that's subscribing is infectious disease doctors. Or the only time you hear about PrEP is if you're in network of if even you may be even be in network inside the LGBT community, but also if you're in network inside of the HIV field, sometimes you really hear about it. Outside of that, like, do you think that you wouldn't really hear about it? Like you wouldn't know, you wouldn't know any information about it. And also, and I think that's what I was talking about in regards to us catching up, not just the LGBT community. I'm talking about Black people as a whole and understanding what PrEP is and what they look like, and for our whole community and for the entire community.
They know what Gucci is.
But
that wasn't for them either.
But Gucci is widely advertised.
Was it? No.
It was. I mean, you can turn on the TV. You can turn on the TV and they talking about Gucci inside of the raps. They talking about Gucci inside of the songs. It's on the video. I mean, it was widely advertised.
Yeah, but Gucci's not advertising itself. People are advertising Gucci.
Right.
I think the Black community needs to address that HIV exists in their community, and I think that's one of the first steps into one, having people willing to even get tested. One, two, having people want to engage in treatment rather than it is treating the HIV or preventing HIV. That's the real problem. Before I even started working here, you guys told me at Black Pride nobody came to your table. That's to let you know everything already. Like, if they didn't know what PrEP was, how did they know to avoid your table?
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a stigma with HIV
and
STDs being Black, and then there's a stigma between HIV just being LGBT.
Yeah, but I don't think that was necessarily because they knew that. I think that before we even get into testing, before we even get into HIV, as far as that being a conversation and something's been broadly talked about, I think the what we really need to talk about is the sex, like sex education period, not sex education, but just normalize that conversation. Because if don't feel comfortable going to my friend. If I don't feel comfortable talking about sex in a way that, it's just comfortable to talk about, as opposed to it being something like I'm being shady about a girl, guess what, a girl, this girl, that, as opposed to being a normal conversation, there's no way that I'm going to be comfortable with coming to a table, talking about HIV and PrEP, or, there's no way because typically people's sex lives tend to be very private, and they open it up, of course, to their girlfriends and their circles, things like that. But other than that, people ain't out here just talking about sex inside the elevator. It's not. So it's not. But so it's not as. So I don't think that it's as. So I think that just the sex, us trying to make sex an untaboo conversation, I think would be the first step.
Sex
as opposed to trying to skip ahead.
For my generation, sex
that's
is
the conversation.
I don't think sex is a taboo conversation as you think it is. I think that as a whole, people don't want to do things that they don't think are going to affect them. Just like these females out here having sex, not on birth control, not making dudes wear condoms, and then you pop up pregnant and you think this nigga's going to fight with you. That's not how that works. That's not how any of that works. You have to be responsible for yourself. All that other shit are excuses. But that's, of course, my opinion. I feel the way I feel about it because I've lost a lot of people. And if anybody could have had a chance to take a pill and not, they would have. So if people look at me now and say, oh, I don't need it because of such and such and so, you're lying to yourself, number one, unless you're not having sex at all and are just being completely to yourself. That's the only way that it doesn't matter or that you don't need to do it. But I digress.
Let me see. Did you go through all your graphs and stuff already?
Mm-hmm.
I did. We did. We had an in-depth conversation about the graphs. I was looking for the video that I wanted to show, but I see it couldn't get loaded.
No, I have it.
Oh, sweet. So I would like to show a bit. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. While I get it set up.
I would like to show a video that actually goes into detail about what PrEP is and how it works, and it shows a little bit more of a visual style, so it's easier to kind of get the gist of, you know, what it is. So if you'll give us just one moment, and we'll cue that up for you. Bryce, if you'd have heard about PrEP when you were in college. Huh?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think if you would have known about it, it would have been something you would have engaged in, or would you have felt like you didn't need it?
No, I'm going to be brutally honest. I felt like I didn't need it because I was like, oh, I'm with my boyfriend and we're monogamous, like, you know. So I can't fault people for thinking that. You get what I'm saying? Because
I don't fault them. I just want them to understand and not have to get to a point to where they no longer have a choice before they understand. And I think that's my biggest thing. Because I don't know how to get people to that, and that's scary sometimes. All right, looks like we're ready to go. Cue it up, Johnny.
All right.
Oh, this is the Scovie commercial.
Step up, PrEP up.
To help keep you free from the risk of HIV.
From the makers of Truvada, a new PrEP option, Descovy for PrEP. A once-daily prescription medicine that helps getting AIDS through sex. It's not fun. Descovy for PrEP has not been studied in people and female at birth. Talk to your doctor to find out if it's right for you.
Step up for health and body.
PrEP up for your one and only love, or many loves. For kings, this queen, and you royals in between. For my now.
Our now.
And my future.
Our future.
Step up, PrEP up. Descovy is the newest way to PrEP. Descovy does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections, so it's important to use safer sex practices and get tested regularly. You must be HIV negative to take Descovy for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and at least every 3 months while taking it. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. They may check to confirm you are still HIV negative. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Real life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. The most common side effect was diarrhea. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Descovy without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about your risk of HIV and if Descovy for PrEP is right for you.
Words are loud, but actions are louder.
Step up,
PrEP up.
With Descovy for PrEP.
Get help paying for Descovy for PrEP. Learn more at stepupprepup.com.
Oh, yeah. That's a really fun commercial. I really like that commercial. And I think that's a great commercial, but it does kind of push forward what you were saying, Johnny, that most of the people on there were from the community and not necessarily everyone. So that I could see how that, especially that commercial in particular, could be stigmatizing. The first PrEP commercials that they put out had more straight women in there, or seemingly straight women in there. I think they were just boring. But I feel like they had a bigger group of people. Although I don't think they had any Caucasian people in there in that first set. But you know.
No Caucasian straight, no Caucasian women really.
And that's something that is missing from all of these things, whether it be PrEP medication or antiretrovirals, is that not only do you rarely see white men, you never see white women. And I think that also contributes to not only the stigma, but the lack of exposure.
Right.
Because it's no longer looked at as a problem in the white community. And in doing that, I think it loses some of its to society.
I know a black guy who has raw sex with white men because he feels like he won't contract HIV that way. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. So serious. So yeah, it's a major stigma. And that's what I have with these commercials, because people literally see these commercials and they're like, oh, this person, especially when it comes to not just commercials and survival commercials. They be like, this person, let me not mess with those people so I won't get that. Yeah.
I'm somebody that kind of said this something very similar to what you just said, Bryce. I thought was very interesting that you said things. That when you said it, I thought about it. But this person said to me that they won't sleep with a white person because they're scared that they can get exposed to
HIV.
No, not HIV, not HIV at all. They was more scared about herpes, and they were scared about hepatitis C, the HPCs, the HPV.
Yeah,
they were scared that they would get that from white people, and I'm just like, what?
What?
What is happening?
This is people logic.
Since when did disease have a race?
This way. It's scary. It's just so much to unpack with.
I don't understand. Like, that's like Trump calling COVID the Kung Fu virus over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the equivalent of that.
I'm trying to find out who this is. I am Groot.
It scored too.
But yes.
Okay.
But,
it's not funny.
So
at all.
Pretty much, I wanted Patrice to kind of talk to the world about and I know that we're going to be doing a follow-up conversation about this as well, just because it doesn't stop here. I think that it is important to have a person that can represent all aspects of life. And when I say represent, I don't mean that she's not LGBT, but she's an ally of LGBT. But she's a Black woman, and I do think that a lot of times people can get a different perspective from a woman providing PrEP as opposed to a Black gay man providing PrEP. I'm already stigmatized. You already look like you're targeted. Now you got the person that's prescribing. It just adds so many different layers to it. And I personally feel like, for Patrice, I think, and not saying her job is easy, because it's not easy at all. As she said, in the beginning. However, but I just do feel like that she can kind of approach a different audience when it comes down to PrEP, because she is a woman, and she can identify with another woman, and have that conversation with the woman and make her feel a little bit more comfortable than a man could. I do think that PrEP is something that needs to be advertised for everybody and all people, and not just LGBT. I think that and I think the only way to kind of break that barrier, is to have somebody else in that field, somebody that can. I am very much of a fag hag, and that is not a derogatory term.
It's not.
I just want to make sure that people understood, that people knew that wasn't a derogatory term, but meaning that I can identify, meaning that she can identify with the LGBT community. She, can move into her own social networks that is very much LGBT friendly. She can move into, so many different aspects of where she can kind of move into, that I do think that a door would be, blocked or hindered from a regular Black gay male, as it transferred over to a different type of, or a different community, the heterosexual community. Coming to a gay man to come get PrEP. They may not go over so well. Or a woman that have questions and things like that, or want to feel comfortable talking to somebody about PrEP, talking to a gay male, I may not go over so well. But a gay male will feel comfortable coming to Patrice or coming to a woman and having a conversation, things like that. You know, sometimes they even feel more, or they even feel better by doing that. So there's a lot of different perks, and I do think that, you know, people need to kind of take heed to that and understand that you know, it is still a very much of a image thing. I hate to say that, but that is just the reality of the situation. You know, we say things like, I want to walk into a organization or a clinic to see people that look like us. That is very much true, and I don't want to take away from that. However, there are so many different things that comes along with that as well. You see somebody that look like you and talk like you scared that they're going to be like you and spill your tea. You know, so these are things that people, you know what I'm saying? A woman that's looked at as a leader may not have that same stereotype, you know, things like that. So there's so many different perks in that. And I just want to congratulate her for coming on into the team and kind of taking advantage of that and using it to her advantage, because it is what, you know, that's what's needed. But I wanted to, we talked about we've been doing the focus groups, we've been doing the IDIs to getting more Black gay men on PrEP. And even that's targeted. I know. But you know, it's targeted for a reason for right now. I do know that we've asked questions within these task force to open it up and brighten it up, and they are looking for it. But I do know that, you know, we targeted a demographic right now so that we can see if it works, and then we can kind of expand on that. But we've been doing these focus groups on the IDIs, which is the in-depth interviews, and I wanted to actually bring people on from the audience, from Facebook, from Twitter, from Instagram, things like that, to have an open discussion with Patrice, as well as with, you know, maybe somebody from the pharmaceutical company, and have that discussion and have that discussion about what to think about PrEP. Ask those difficult questions and things like that, and we can kind of do it in a way that, you know, everybody can kind of see. We don't have to hide behind closed doors to talk. I think that's where the barriers. That's where the barriers are going to be broken. Is that we're able to kind of talk about that and have a conversation about that. We may get aggravated, we may get attitude-ish, and whatever the case may be, but being able to kind of talk things and have everybody see how to engage a conversation, I think is important. So it may not be right now, it may not be next month, but in the future, we will be inviting you guys to come back on. People that have never heard of PrEP, never taken PrEP, have had experience on PrEP, whatever walks of life that you are in, you are going to be included and be represented inside of that conversation. Gay, Black, white, women, it don't matter. I think that it's important to kind of get a different perspective for everybody. I know that we not really pressed for time, but I also wanted to talk to you guys about what we're going to be doing for National HIV Testing Day.
Yay!
So we literally pulled this out of our hat at the very last minute. We were actually going to be working with Walgreens to do a National HIV Testing Day. However, due to the COVID, things kind of got mixed up, things kind of got messed up. So last minute, we were able to get our permit. Charlotte permitted us with the permit, for us to do testing outside of our office on the street. So we are now doing a
drive-by testing.
Yep, curbside drive-up testing. So pretty much what that looks like is that you coming to the address listed above. We will be on the street facing 5th Street. You just pull up in your car. We will have signs and everything out there. You're gonna pull up to your car. You're gonna pull up with your car. We're gonna test you while you're in your car. The test that we have is only for a minute or so, and not even that. Right, not even a minute. We're gonna get your results right then and there. You can pull off. So that is that. We may have some waters and little refreshments out there as well. We will be out there from 11 to 7. I plan on, you guys making that a big event. I want you guys to come out and get tested. It is important to know your status. Not only for yourself, but for other people and your other sex partners. It is important to know your status. I think that, people think that people are selfish, but I do think that sometimes people do have a heart. People do think about other people other than themselves. And I want to challenge people to understand that if you're not getting tested for yourself, get tested for the person you're sleeping with, so that you can know and you can protect them. If you don't feel like you deserve to be protected, protect others. And I think that that's something that we all had to learn within the last couple of months as it relates to COVID. The young folks is out here, out here wanting to party and things like that. And one of the things that I've heard that kind of touched me was, you may be able to fight it and get over it, things like that. But the person that you expose or you may get it to may not have that same, they may not be that lucky. So if not for yourself, do it for somebody else. So come out and spend some time with us. We're probably gonna have music out there. I'm gonna bring my speakers. We're gonna be out there. So just come out and have a good time with us. And get tested. Promote. This is gonna be posted and blasted on all of our social medias. So if you will, please share, tag a friend on it, things like that. Come, bring people, pull them by the arm and get them in your car and bring them along with you to get their ass tested too. Get out there and get tested. So yeah. We also got a little quick video that I wanted to show you.
Go ahead, John.
You can hear me, Patrice?
No, I'm talking to Bryce.
Oh, okay. I also got another quick video that I wanted to kind of show you in representing of National HIV Testing Day. So we're looking out for that. I'm actually going to post it now. Hopefully it goes through for you guys. Please. Please.
Since everyone is at risk for HIV, getting tested can be an incredibly scary moment. Two different outcomes can lead them down two different paths. One path could be the most devastating news that they could have heard. The other, a wake-up call. This can be an extremely difficult and scary time, but there is hope. Whether the test is positive or negative, they can find hope and compassion at RAIN. RAIN is a place where there is no judgment, where one can find help such as medical case management, help enrolling in health insurance, safe housing, food insecurity support, transportation to appointments, and mental health counseling where you will be treated like family. RAIN is a place where your test result never defines who you are, and where you'll find the support and tools you need to live a happy and fulfilling life. Two different test results may take you down two different paths, but RAIN is here to make sure those paths end in the same place.
Live fully with or without HIV.
I love that commercial.
Oh my God. Even though I wasn't in it. Look, even though I wasn't, fuck y'all. But yeah, I do love that. We're gonna be sharing it. I do too. Are we going to be sharing that video on the next video as well, just to kind of give you an insight of how that looks like? Again, it doesn't have to be scary. Testing does not have to be scary at all. And you have us, Patrice, Bryce, Sean, and myself. I don't know. I was trying to figure out. Oh, and you have us, the outreach team, to kind of help you along the way. You have wonderful case managers at RAIN. You have a wonderful PrEP case manager if you are negative and want to get on PrEP. There's so many different support systems that we have out there for you. So just come on and get tested. It's nothing to be scared about. We can walk you along the way.
Free testing.
Yes. So, if we don't have anything else, I don't want to end it before anybody else got something to say.
Any questions, please feel free. Let it fly.
Yes. Any questions, if you, again, at all, please contact Patrice. She is very knowledgeable as it relates to STD and PrEP and prevention. So let her know. And if she needs assistance, she can point you in the right direction. Okay. So I guess from there, I'm going to go ahead and end this out. Next week we're going to be talking. Next week. I'm ready. So this Thursday, the 25th, we're going to be talking about growing up without biological parents, growing up without our biological parents. And it's going to be diving in kids growing up into foster care, growing up in the foster care system, or growing up, with adoptive parents. So please tune in to that conversation.
Nothing. I was saying hello to somebody. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. So please tune in that conversation. Where I do want to give a shout out to CREW. CREW stands for Community Resource and Empowerment and Wellness. They are a sister program. They see people who are having, or I'm not going to say having issues with substance abuse. They see people that who are using substance. You can go there and be a part of a support group. You can go there and get individual counseling as well. If you have any questions about that, you can contact Sean. You can inbox him, or you can contact the number on the actual flyer that I have up in front of you. I also want to give a shout out to Uplift. Uplift is also a part of CREW. Uplift is dedicated to helping the LGBT community, looking for resources for that particular community, as well as trying to find, giving them a support system and a support group. It is very new and up and coming. So be checking those out. They do have a Facebook page you can go to. It'll be www.facebook.com/uplift. So check them out as well. And that's all I have for you. It was nice. This was nice.
It was good to see you guys tonight.
It was real copacetic,
You guys have a nice one. Thank you for joining us.
See you Thursday.
Bye.